Hello for the very first time audience. This will be the my very first video in a long series that may or may not pan out, depending on whether or not I have the ambition to actually do them all. But this first one comes from request of our state winners out in Idaho on like forestry practices because they qualified out there, which is pretty darn cool. I didn't get to qualify from Missouri, but it's intensely competitive out here. But anyways, I got this nifty iPhone, which is letting me start doing videos, and it's pretty nice actually. So to start off with the forestry event, I'm gonna post a link in the description to National FFA's stuff because it's all good stuff. I mean, I probably wouldn't know half of the stuff if they didn't have like a nice fancy little link for me. But it's basically a really difficult event on the national level. And so it's a 6-part contest. It starts off with a knowledge exam, and then tree identification, then goes on to an issues interview. I don't know how that's going to go, but good luck with that. And then it goes on to some timber cruising, and then 2 forestry practums, of which, like, 2 individual practums, you'll have to do 2 of them, but there's 8 of them that you have to know. So the first one is one that you pray you're going to get, which is TSI, Timber Stand Improvement. We'll get to all of them in more detail later, but yeah. Then the next one's map reading. Hope you get that one too. Then tool ID, also, that's a good one to get. Then compass, like compass skills, which would be better than some of the next ones. And then chainsaw, which is like, I don't know, we'll get to it in more detail. But then there's tree disorders, that's one you pray you won't get. And then wood products and forest business management. So after that, there's one last team activity that wraps it up, and we'll get to the points at the very end. So it starts off with your general knowledge exam. You're going to have 50 multiple choice questions, and it's going to be worth 100 points. So this, 2 points apiece. You get 45 minutes to do it, and it should be reasonably easy. I'll post a link in the description, probably the second link, to the 2009 national exam, which has some interesting questions on it. Let me see if I can get some of them right here. The first one would be, how many native trees are there on the North American continent? I have no idea. But then the second one is like super easy. So you're looking at a cross-section of a tree, and there's a series of rings, right? Under normal conditions, 1 ring is produced each year. What can you tell from counting these? Really? What can you tell from counting the rings of a tree? So A is density, B is specific gravity, C is age, and D is resistance to insects. So I'd hope you get number 2 on the 2009 exam right, but I'm going to post the rest of those there, so good luck with that. Then the next thing would be tree identification, okay? So you're going to get 20 trees. I suspect that you're going to have some live examples, some standing trees, and some just like framed leaves and other stuff. But yeah. Don't know what you're gonna get. I'll post a link. No, I'll just post them straight in the description. Just post them straight there, and yeah, there's 52 of them if you didn't know, but you can go through the list yourself. Then so what's next? What's next? Oh, wait. Before I move on, tree ID. Okay, here's something that's really going to help you. call it Mad Boy, right? Maple, ash, dogwood, and box elder, okay? These all have opposite leaf arrangements. So if this is the twig, it'll have buds or leaves right across from each other, right? And everything else is alternate, right? So you're going to have one up here and one down here, and it'll just alternate like that, okay? So that's something that can help you figure out what a tree is and identify it, or at least narrow it down. I mean, it's always better if you can narrow something down. But anyways, then there's your timber cruising, right? So I'll have to post a second video on how to use the Biltmore stick if you're going to use that in contests, but just some details for the national contest are you're going to the nearest half log. Full log is at 16 feet, so half log would be 8 feet. And you always round down, okay? Once you get your height, you round down. I mean, if it's sort of close to 1.5 logs, it's 1 log. I always went over on my board foot calculations because of that. Because, I mean, and you stop at the smallest defects, in my opinion. But so what you do is you measure the diameter breast height, and if it's not bigger than 10 inches, ignore the tree. Act like it's not there. There's 0 board foot in the tree. And but if also you stop if the diameter gets below 10, right? So if you're going up the tree, you're measuring your height. If it's below 10 inches in diameter, stop there. Stop where there's a major fork in the tree, of course, or where there is a limb equal to half of the diameter of the tree at that point. Or if there's like a cat face knot, I'll have to, never mind. You should know what a cat face knot is. Or a knot in the tree. Or a giant limb sticking out of it that's been broken off. All of that should stop your height measurement. Okay? And you get 30 minutes, if you didn't know. And, whoa, I'm getting lost here. Ah, crap. This is what sucks about the iPhone. You can't edit videos. Like, I don't think you can. Well, I must be on track anyways. On to the individual practums. Now, these are gonna be pretty darn hard. You're gonna get 2 of them out of 8. We've already discussed what those were. And each one's going to be worth 100 points. So, your first practum would be your timber stand improvement. Now, this is the one I can help you the most with, right? So, you've got 3 options. You can harvest the tree, right? So, if the tree's hit maturity and it's merchable, or I don't know, if it's like a walnut or an oak, then you might want to just cut it down right there and sell it. Then you can leave the tree, either to grow or to grow, and that's it. Or, no wait, you can leave the tree also for mass production, but we'll get to that later. Or you can deaden the tree, which is if it's just a trash species like locusts, just cut those down. Just cut them down. They're worthless. They're worthless. But anyways, you'll get a paradigm from the judges in this scenario, right? So you're going to go out to 20 standing trees, and the judge is going to hand you a paradigm, right? So they'll say, we want this stand managed for wildlife, or we want it managed for timber production, or they might give you a mix of those. Maybe wildlife is the primary goal, timber production is the secondary goal. Usually reversed, actually. Usually it's you want timber production as your primary goal, and then wildlife production as your secondary goal, which you should just interpret as massed. So, mass production, if you don't know, that's like acorns and persimmons and whatnot. Persimmon trees are rare, but anyways. Wow. It's gonna suck because I can't edit this video. Anyways. But yeah, they'll usually tell you this is a tenth of an acre site, and we've got 300 basal area, something like that. They'll use that term. I don't know why, but that means 300 trees an acre. And if it's a tenth acre, that means we got 30 trees on the site, and we want to get down to like 12 or 120 is what they'll say. But it's a tenth acre site, so you got to interpret it as we want 12 trees left after that. But they're always going to be 20 at the national event. Oops, sorry for confusing you. So that's going to be a practum that you really want. Cut a tree down if it's not straight, or harvest it or whatever. Unless you're managing for wildlife. If you're managing for wildlife, then if there's a hole in the tree for the home for a squirrel or a whatever, or if it's an oak tree, if you're managing for wildlife, never cut down those oak trees. Just a matter of opinion there, but just be careful with that one. Then the next practum on the list would be your equipment identification. Now this one is going to be pretty easy. I'm going to list or post in the description some of the stuff there that you have to know. And it should be pretty easy stuff. I mean, tool idea was always what we did best in at state, but you're going to get 30 minutes to identify 25 pieces of equipment. It'd be worth 100 points, just like all the other practums. The next one was your map interpretation practum. Now, this one, if you haven't done it in Idaho or wherever you're from, if you're watching this video, would be pretty easy, but one of the easiest ones to screw up. They'll give you a map, a topographical map with a whole bunch of different items on it, and they'll say identify what is in box whatever, section whatever, right? So if you can remember the Northwest Land Ordinance, maybe from APUSH or some other history class, American history that you might have taken, basically cut things up into 640 acre boxes, 1 square mile, essentially, which is pretty convenient, yet it can lead to some confusing map reading, right? So they'll ask you, what is the legal description of the boxed-in area, right? So you got a shaded box with a number on it. What's the legal description? You'll have to go the southeast quarter of the northwest section of 3 in township 3 north, 1 east. That'd be an example. So, I mean, this one's pretty easy, but just be wary of it. Like, another example, what is the item located at this point? So they'll have the number of the question right there on the map drawn out for you, and you have to tell them what the item is. For example, if there's a railroad or something, like, you'll have to say, yeah, that's a railroad there. But the keys to these maps are sometimes left off, so you just got to be knowledgeable. And then they'll ask you, like, what is the acreage of the enclosed area, right? So each box is 640 acres. So if they've got half of a box, you got 320 acres. If you got a quarter of a box, what do you have? 160? That took me too long. Eighth of a box, 80 acres, right? So that's how you get your full section, 640 acres, half section, 320, quarter section, 160, and so on. So that's the map practum. That's an easier one. Pray you get that one. Right? So then you're moving on to the really, really not so fantastic practums. So you got your chainsaw part identification, like chainsaw practum, right? So this is goofy. You're going to have to identify parts of a chainsaw, identify problems, which I assume is like a dull blade or you flooded the engine because you're not smart enough to start it correctly. And so I don't know about that one. I would think I'd do well on it because I've used a chainsaw, but I may not have done enough with the chainsaw. Anyways, get the sun blocked out there. That's better. So you're not being glared on. Anyways, then there's safety. So that's still on the chainsaw practicum. You'll need to identify unsafe practices and whatnot. Pray you don't get this practicum. Just pray. Okay? Then there's your forest and tree disorders, right? So you're probably, for this one, because the forests out there in Indiana are pretty darn healthy, you're probably going to get, samples or pictures of stuff that have diseases. I'll put the diseases in the link in the description, but good luck with this one. This one's going to be ugly, no matter how you slice it. Then there's your forest products practicum, right? So I'm assuming you're going to get a little wooden item, or 20 wooden items to be 10 to 20 wooden items to be specific. And you're going to have to tell them the species from the list of trees. And it could be actual samples, could be pictures or slides, could be written description. So this is one that I don't know. This one's up for grabs. I have no idea. But I'm assuming. Oh wait, hold on. We got one more to go. Then there's your forest business management problem practicum, which I'm just going to read this one because it's a little bit goofy. Could be difficult, could be easy. But here it goes. This section is designed to determine the participants' ability to apply economic principles, concepts, and the concepts of management to a decision-making process. Get the other part here. By actual problem analysis and to defend the decisions made. This will involve a model forest operation with possible calculation on profit and loss, cost keeping, etc. Operation taxes, depreciation, market product, and stumpage cost, whatever that is, cost keeping records, and whatnot, etc. The exact problem may or may not be in a listed reference. A maximum of 10 problems or questions will be used. So for this one, I assume you're just going to get handed a list or a little test type deal where it says, hey, we're a forestry company. We've got some acreage that needs worked on, and tell us stuff about it. So those are your practicums. Now, each one of you in your team is going to get 2 of those, right? There's 8 of them, right? So each person's going to get 2. I'm assuming that also means that no matter what, your entire team is going to do the practicums, right? Do all 8 of them. But each person's going to get a different 2. So you're going to have to study for all 8, which I'm glad I'm not out there. But I already know 3 of them. Sort of. Mostly, actually. Anyways, then there's your scoring. Right? So your general knowledge exam, that was worth 100 points. I skipped the team activity. So, I guess as an entire team, you're going to come together and you're going to work on a scenario. They're vague, and I'm expecting they're vague for a reason. It's going to come out of left field every year. I'm pretty sure of it. So, then there's your scoring. Your general knowledge exam. It's worth 100 points. Your tree identification is worth 100. Your issues interview is also worth 100. Your timber cruising, worth 100. And your 2 practicums are worth 100 each. Right? And then there's your team activity, which is worth 450 points for the entire team, which breaks down to about 110 points, right? No, 112 and a half points per person. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Actually, on Tree ID, I don't know how I can help you guys through a video unless I got really into working on it, which would be a lot. But just remember, Mad Boy, look at the link, look down in the description down below, okay? Get your stuff that I said is going to be in there. I may not remember to put it all in there, but go ahead and get that stuff, and good luck. It's going to be pretty darn tough. I'll see if I can get a Biltmore stick, and maybe that'll be my next video. But we're going to try something here. Outro of darkness, then redness, then whiteness. Okay. I hope you all have a good day, week, month, time at National Convention. And I wish you all the best of luck, because this contest is going to be pretty darn hard. I'm just going to say that right up front and flip a pen some. But anyways, you all have a good day, week. I've already said this. Good luck. See ya.